Hello, Cancer. This is your sun, moon, and rising forecast for Cancer 2025, the month of March. And finally, all systems go. Your life is moving forward at last. You're going to feel a sense of renewal and new, fresh momentum. And you're going to feel more aligned with purpose, especially when it comes to matters of career. Some of you may even get all involved in some long distance travel. Let's talk about some of the stories for you this month ahead. We're going to cover the entire month in chronological order. So make sure you have a notepad handy and take some notes or come back and watch this video again. And as we do this today, let me say a little bit about the astrology and who I am. My name is Lori Lothian. I am a Western tropical zodiac astrologer. This is not sidereal. And we'll be covering the big broad themes of this month, including two eclipses. And these eclipses are going to finalize an old cycle that's been changing your career path ever since 2023 and amplifying the need for you to be on purpose, as well as cover the first full Virgo moon eclipse, full moon Virgo eclipse since 18 years ago, since 2007, in the house of travel, in the house of learning, in the house of teaching, in the house of communicating, websites, and writing, especially for Cancers who have a Virgo third house. So there's a lot to talk about on this story of your month ahead, and it's a big deal. And I'll be bringing into our Sky Stories today a lot of information about how to use astrology as a navigational tool so you can make decisions that are going to work the best for you as you go through a very powerful month ahead. Before I begin, I am teaching a course, and if you're into learning astrology and also just having a team of astro-curious folk to navigate things with, we're doing the Venus retrograde 6-week journey class together. We are starting that class on Saturday, the 1st of March. It runs to Saturday, the 16th, 12th of April. And we also have a collage, a party we're going to do on that group. We're going to have every week a map of the week ahead with the Venus retrograde cycle and what you may do with that based on your sign. So it's teaching you how to use this next 6 weeks the best you can based on your sun, moon, or rising, especially your rising. And it's also got a Q&A every second week and a Facebook group. So it's very high touch. You're in a group of learning students with me, and we're going to have fun. We'll even do some guided meditations with some of those minor asteroids. If you like Isis, if you catch wind of this before March 1st, please sign up. There's a possibility I'll have a late enrollment allowable for people who want to sign up 1 week late. And there is a discount code Venus15 for 15% off, which is in the description box below. Or if you catch wind of this before the 22nd of the month, and you won't, because this video is coming out after that. So let's get talking about the sky. I'm going to show it to you. We're going to go circling through the heavens together. This is a 2-dimensional sky. Okay, don't forget, hit that like button and subscribe. Thank you. It does help my channel. All right, so just like if you watch my content and you haven't subscribed, why not? This is the sky for a Cancer rising. And you can listen for your sun, career and purpose. As a Cancer sun, we pretend it's in the first house, or a Cancer moon, we pretend it's in the first house, and you're listening for matters to do with your home and home life. But the rising sign is most often circumstantially accurate. Consider it to be kind of like the character you're playing in the simulation or matrix in the game of life. Now, the first thing I want to bring up to your attention here is that you've been dealing with this Mars retrograde in your sign since January 6th through to last February, behind us, February 23rd. That Mars retrograde reminds you of your life, if you can remember your life, most accurately replicates the fall of 77 into the summer of 1978. But there is a bit of an overlap as well with 2008 and 2009 energy. But really, it's 77, 78 that most complements the kind of retrograde of Mars in your earnings house and your house of identity. And so a lot of what some of you have been considering is, who am I in relationship to how I make money or survive or thrive? And those questions have been active for you starting in September, October, Mars in Cancer, then November, December, Mars in your earnings house, and then basically, January 6th till February 23rd, Mars in Cancer, again, direct, but not out of Cancer, guys, not out of your sign until April 18th. So you're really in an intense window of time. And then April 18th to the middle of June in your earnings house, where you're rounding up a very important story of how you can really come into alignment with your values, your deeper self-worth, and the way that money can happen in your life and resources can flow to you and financial wellness can be retool in a way that you really feel good about it. With this Mars moving through your first house, there's a lot of actions and decisions you're called to make in the month of March. He's now in direct motion. He's also moving again. He's not just hovering at 17 degrees of Cancer, which he's doing for almost all of February. So now we move into March and you get this guy moving forward, all right, moving into action. Now, for some reason, I've got myself on the March 14th date, and that's not what I want. So let's move us back a little bit. And yeah, don't even ask. Let's just move us back a little bit to the beginning of the month, right? That's exactly where we should have been. And we'll move us back to your sign. Well, sorry about that hot mess that you just saw. Okay, Cancer. And so bottom line is Mars. I'm in August. You've got to be kidding me. Don't ask. Let's go back a couple of weeks. Let's pull your sign up. And I'll be breaking this whole story down chronologically, week by week. All right. So there's Mars moving forward at 17 degrees of Cancer on March the 1st, but he's going to get off that degree as we move into March and really start to propel your life forward in ways that you may not even imagine, because he makes you extremely capable, determined, disciplined, perseverant, hardworking because of his flow to Saturn. And you get shit done, but you also make really good decisions now. And those actions that follow from your choices and decisions are Martian powered. So you don't suffer fools gladly when you have Mars in your sign. So you might have noticed September, October, and now you'll all the way through to mid-April, you're willing to cut people out of your life. You'll be really harder with your spouse, telling them to F off. Your kids get good, strong mother bear, tough love from you, that kind of stuff. So with this energy of Mars moving through your sign, just be careful not to have waterborne injuries. That could indicate slipping on water or burning yourself with hot water or something parching you. Get hydrated here, because Mars is a hot planet and he's dehydrating in the sign of water. Stay hydrated. Now let's talk about the first week of March. On the first week of March, Jupiter will square the sun, and that happens in the first 3 days. And that's a very good opportunity coming your way, connected to travel to foreign places, which is where the sun is sitting up here, and the house of distant shores. So some Cancers will travel abroad or to a far off place or shore. You may also find this is positive for book publishing deals, also really positive lucky breaks when it comes to matters to do with income generated around the world, borderless income, digital revenue. It can also be very positive for gurus. If you want to have a spiritual teacher, a guide, a mentor, go to an ashram, take a spiritual retreat. An opportunity emerges in the first 3 days of the month of March for that kind of journey. When we move forward, Mercury will co-join Neptune. Mercury and Neptune, well, it's mind and fantasy joined together, ideas and fantasy in your 9th house. This is a conjunction that's very active with the North Node, making it quite rare. This is a very rare triple conjunction. So I want you to pay attention to what's going on March 1st, 2nd, and 3rd with that Mercury-Neptune conjunction building. You might be able to download a divine idea. You might be inspired to create a new written project, a book. You might have some kind of dream outcome when it comes to travel, foreign lands, foreign shores, higher education, getting an acceptance at your favorite university, that kind of thing. And this is a beautiful opening for the first few days of March. As we move towards the 5th of March, Mercury will cross into Aries. Now, as he crosses the border and moves into the sign of Aries, he becomes intimate with Pluto. Pluto is in your 8th house of chunky money. That can be the money you share with a spouse, tax rebates, money you share with banks and mortgage holding, money that comes from investments in the markets or inheritances. Although all said and done, Mercury is a god of commerce and markets in the house of career and reputation, flowing to a chunky money, Pluto, riches. So some good financial developments may occur connected to job. Pluto can offer up severance packages and sign-on bonuses, commission checks, royalty income. Something is popping in a beautifully wonderful way around the 5th of March. On the 7th and 8th or so, Mars, yes, in your sign will trine that sun. Mars sun energy is very beautiful. It allows for your actions to be really invigorating, that you want to do something, take some kind of action regarding those ninth house matters, and shining a big light on that ninth house is a Dharma house. You're also looking for meaning in career, meaning in your life. You want to be on purpose. And Mars is going to help you make decisions and take some specific actions as a result of the 7th and 8th of March in order to be aligned with purpose. The sun is in the house of its joy in your ninth house, and Mars is willing to work with that sun to bring you a deeper alignment with the divine will and with the sense of being in your life aligned with meaning and purpose. And so find the good energy of that 7th and 8th of March, and let me know in the comments later how that played out. Could easily be just booking a trip. Could be, getting a book publishing deal. It could be going to travel for an ashram or a retreat, or getting ready to do it or planning it, those kinds of things. Now, on March the 8th to the 14th or so, we have a bit of story going on. We have a total lunar eclipse on the skyline here in Virgo, and that's on the 14th. We'll break that down in a minute. But before that happens, the 11th to the 13th, the sun will come into contact with Saturn. Now, Saturn and the sun don't always get along, but Saturn is receiving the sun. The sun is shining a big spotlight into the things in your ninth house that need your attention. Saturn here can be like asking for you to look at what is structured, what is disciplined, and what is maybe difficult when it comes to your relationship to a father figure, when it comes to your connection to God's guru, teaching, and spiritual life and meditation practices or something. Some challenges you've had in the area of feeling on purpose, or in the acquisition of higher learning, or even some blocks you've been experiencing with the word publications and publishing. Well, the sun is going to meet with Saturn and illuminate him. So he's kind of Mr. Cold, hard, and stern, a little bit stuck in watery Pisces. He keeps trying to get things to happen, and they kind of dissolve on him, especially with Neptune there. It's a god of like concrete and the sign of water. So you got to have this energy here of a sun conjunction. It happened in 23 and 24 in the same time frame, March, and it's back for a last time. And you could be finding yourself wanting to reset. Well, it wasn't always in March, but it was in February, March. You're going to want to reset your agenda when it comes to that ninth house. I described all the things about it. You could even finally have a breakthrough in a legal court case that you've been contending with, and it's been hard. So that's a nice energy for you. And as the sun and Saturn come together, they sextile in a lucky flow energy. Uranus in the house of great gains from one's career, windfalls, pennies from heaven, allies and people who wish to help you, a sibling, one older than you. And Uranus is always surprises, but he's also on the Wealth Star Algol. So there could be a nice little financial pop here too, but it could also be because you've broken through some kind of hold back that's really not letting you really connect to your deepest purpose, and now you have an energy of breakthrough. I apologize for that sound. Let me tell my daughter to stop. And finally, moving into that eclipse at 23 degrees of Virgo, total blood moon lunar eclipse. Well, you had eclipses here like in the spring, a lunar eclipse here in the spring of 2007. You might compare things of 2007 to this time frame. Lunar eclipses may be felt, by the way, up to a month before and up to 6 months after. It's in the third house of travel, but it's also your neighbors and neighborhood. Now, South Node could mean a change of neighborhood, a letting go of where you live in the next 18 months. And now this lunar eclipse shines a big light to show you maybe why you need to have a change of neighborhood in whole sign houses. Some of you may have your IC floating in the third house, so that even doubles down on the idea of a move. So you might find this is a letting go, releasing, and surrendering of a way or place of living. You may also have some major revelations and shifts regarding your relationship to a sibling, one younger than you, and or to your aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews. Now, you might want to learn something, but if you do, because it's a learning house, it's got to be skills based. It's got to when you learn it, you can take it and use it right away. It's not like, learning literature or something. So did you want to learn a new skill that maybe you find you might be called to learn, feeling like you might have a natural gift at it, especially with the South Node, feels very familiar to you. And so some of you, especially with the North Node in the ninth house, are on a learning axis in the next 18 months. And the moon may light up an opportunity, a clarity over the next 6 months, starting on the actual eclipse of the 14th, for a movement toward a new direction professionally that requires learning. Finally, that younger sibling full moon eclipse could show you something about them, reveal something to you about them that's very important and very necessary to connect with them or see something that you need to do about them or with them. And full moon eclipse can show you where you need to travel in the next 6 months, and why you need to travel, because there may be indeed travel to South Node, places you've been before in this lifetime or others in the next 18 months. We'll be doing a whole eclipse video with a deep dive into the asteroids and stars involved. So please like and subscribe, because you don't want to miss that video. It's going to be a much more in-depth concentration of how to use this rare 18-year eclipse cycle. I must take that. Cancer, I want you to think about why I'm getting so many interruptions for you. That was an important business call, like to do with banking, time sensitive, because first my daughter is singing and then my bank is calling, and, really all at once. So that's Mars interrupting things in your first house. You can't make this stuff up. Anyway, back to you. I do apologize. Next, my doctor will call. If that happens, 3 is a charm, right? So I'm recording this on February 20th, where my Patreon community gets this early access ad free, and you guys get it several days later. So let's go back to the other story, the eclipse. I finished that up. We're moving now past the eclipse story into the 14th to the 22nd of the month. Now, before we go into all of the little details there, understand that Mercury and Venus are retrograde this month. And now we're going to start with Mercury, and then we'll discuss Venus. Mercury retrogrades on the middle of the month, on the 15th, and goes direct on April 7th. This retrograde will have him crossing 2 signs. He starts off retrograding. First of all, Mercury entered into Aries on March the 3rd. So you've got him up here, right? We talked about his sextile to Pluto. A lot of things going on here, March 3rd. Through to the retrograde of March 15th, about taking actions, communicating, negotiating, speaking, talking about things you wish to create in your career. This can look like job negotiations, praises and promotions, especially with Venus there, but a lot of back and forth. But suddenly on the 15th, he's like, oh, shoot, I got to go back and get something in that 9th house. So he begins to backtrack. And this retrograde period then is kind of making you rethink things. And you might want to be careful about major career change decisions. Maybe hold off till April 7th, because the retrograde March 15th to the 30th, while he's still in your 10th house, means that you have to revise and rethink some career matters. Also, you might have phone calls or emails or texts or hear from people who are former colleagues, coworkers, or bosses. And if you're looking for a job, some of those people from the past could offer that to you. That's a thought. Now, on the 30th, he backtracks into your 9th house, which we've been discussing a lot. We have a stellium there. We have a parade of planets there. It's a heavyweight house, especially at the end of the month. Again, dharma, purpose, retreat, foreign travel, book publishing, legal matters, courts. And Mercury goes back there on the 30th, and he will be there retrograde until April 7th before he spits it around and turns around. That's where you need to be really careful about signing documents that are legal. Don't. Also, there may be delays in travel, or March 30th to April 7th, travel involves places you've been before, foreign shores that you've visited in other times. I'm trying to get my Cancer rising sister to take a trip to Hawaii with me, or anywhere. And maybe I'll be trying to pull her into that at that time. We travel together. So these are exciting times. Let me know what you have had happen there. Moving into the Venus retrograde, please consider my course. February 4th, she entered Aries, your 10th house, and she's trying to glow you up and give you more success in your career, more enjoyment of your career, more values and alignment with your career, more deeper connection to women in the career space. She's been there since February 4th, and then on March the 1st, she is going to be turning retrograde at 10 Aries. Of course, if your ascendant sun and moon is at 10 degrees of Cancer, she's flowing directly to you as she retrogrades. So you're going to get a lot of oomph from this. And as she retrogrades backwards on March 1st, by the time we get to the 27th of March, she's now sliding into that ninth house. So much action in the 10th and ninth house. Now, this is where, if you wanted to travel abroad or win in a court case, certainly having Venus in Pisces is an ally. She's exalted here. She's with the node of destiny. And if you want to apply for a university or college or hand in that essay, I don't mind Venus retrograde here. And she'll be retrograding here March the 27th. And that she won't even turn around until April the 12th. And then she turns herself around and doesn't get out of Pisces until nearly the very end of April. So you've got a lot of opportunity, therefore, for the end of March to end of April for magical, mystical, and beautiful travel. And I really encourage you to do that travel because it will benefit you at this time. You will have magical, mystical, and spiritual events to travel. Opportunities if you wish to take them, or magical, beautiful experiences in ashrams, or getting some kind of glow up or beautiful thing happen when it comes to publishing or legal court matters. Now let's go ahead, and now that we've covered that, let's go back to the chronological order, if you don't mind. On March the 8th to the 14th, we covered that. On March 14th to the 22nd, Sun and Neptune will join. Sun puts a spotlight on Neptune. Let's move ourselves forward. So we're talking here about around the 19th of the month. And we'll see the Sun joining Neptune will also crossing through the North Node of Fate. Fated circumstances arising that bring some dreams and dreams come true, or help you see the lay of the deeper purpose and meaning of your life and a connection to divine and spiritual principles, maybe even some sense of coming into a very deep connection to the divine itself. Because Neptune is that, the Sun is lighting it up in its joy in this house, and the North Node means destiny, and Saturn means structure. So some dreams come true are showing up here. And it's just a beautiful vibe, rainbows and unicorns, anyone around the 11th to the 13th. And as the Sun and 11th to the 13th. As the Sun and Neptune co-join on the 19th, 20th or so, you'll also notice that Venus is lining up with Pluto. Now, Pluto is power and riches in the house of chunky money, and Venus is in the reputation and career space. There are a lot of ways this can work. So I'm not sure what will happen, but it could be getting a settlement in a divorce that works out on your behalf. It could be getting news of an inheritance from a father figure. It could be some exciting developments in your career that allow for greater financial success in your life, especially passive income, royalty income, etc. Or some of you may have a secret dastardly office romance bubbling up for you, or office attraction or professional romantic attraction, maybe secret, Pluto in the house of secrets. You may excavate or understand something more deeply about your motives and what you wish to value and create in your career. This energy is flowing on the 21st and 22nd of the month. Now, on the 24th to the 31st, a lot is happening all at once. We see Saturn sextiling Uranus and Mars trining Saturn. So Saturn's doing two things. Saturn is playing with Uranus and trining Mars. Let's take a look at that, shall we? So what you'll notice is that Saturn's at 23 degrees, and he happens to be in a flow to Uranus at 24 degrees, while also having support from Mars down here. Now, this is beautiful energy. There's no two ways about it. You're going to like the energy, or you should like the energy. Saturn says, what do you want to make stable in a destined way that's dreamed come true? That Uranus says, surprise, I've got this, a windfall, pennies from heaven, support from an elder sibling, a sudden surge of career gains, an actualization of a long-term dream and goal, a connection to an elder sibling, ally, or benefactor that supports the actualization of some of your long-term dreams and goals. And it's a very exciting energy because of Uranus. It's also very unexpected. So there's something beautiful trying to happen in the last week of March between Saturn and Uranus. Well, at the same time, This is more important, perhaps. About the 21st of March to April 7th, Mars is in a long-term trine to Saturn. This is where you're making decisions and taking actions that are going to bring into your life something very positive, because it's going to put you in alignment with purpose. Some of you may travel abroad, get a book published, go get a visa, move to another country even with this alignment, or plan those things. And because it also ends up making a mini grand trine to Uranus as time goes on, there is something lucky and blessed. And this is also sometimes called a talent triangle, but it's also grace and blessings. Uranus is breaking free and through constraints around financial gain from your career directly, activating decisions and actions that you're boldly taking as a Martian character. And you may work hard to actualize this, work hard on that last draft of the novel, work hard to get accepted into that higher educational school, but things are going your way around those matters. And this definitely can look like long distance travel, especially with Jupiter in the 12th house. Now, the last eclipse in Aries is happening, and this is the end eclipse of ones that occurred in April of 23, April of 24, and now March 29th of 2025 in your 10th house of career and reputation. But understand that with Chiron here since 2019, you're trying to heal a chironic wound about your reputation, a chironic wound about your life's purpose in terms of career and achievement and success. Even if you're retired, you got to do something in the world. And so this wound wants to heal through these eclipses. And this last eclipse at 9 degrees of Aries is important. That's when the sun will come together here with the moon, right? It's a new moon on the 29th. It is an eclipse, but you'll notice something. The node of fate is in the 9th house, and that means it's going to bridge two worlds. You want to make some fated changes in your career up to a month before March 29th, up to a year later. And now you notice it has to be connected to 9th house matters. Move your career into book publishing. Move your career because you're going back to school in a destined way to learn something new. Move your career and change your career because you're going to go to foreign countries, be a digital nomad, move your place of residence. You're trying to get ducks in a row, human resources. You're telling human resources, I want my retirement package or something. So there's some changes coming into your life over the next year. They burble up on March the 29th, but you can feel the wave of that up to a month before. You can feel the wave of that up to a year later. And this is not going to happen for another 18 years. But the last time eclipses tried to change career matters for you in a similar manner was 2004, 5, and 6. Mid 2004 to mid 2006 is the best comparison to career and reputation. Changes, finally. Your 10th house is your social standing and reputation. I'm divorced, I'm married, this is my wedding, this is my funeral, whatever. It's like public eye number one, everything that you do and be and become and are seen in the public eye. And so there may be stature changes revolving around those matters, including the words separation and divorce and legal matters that must be attended to, especially with Pluto in the house of shared resources and with the 9th house involving legal matters. I'm not trying to scare you because that's not going to be true for most of you, but it's just kind of reminding you there's major changes in the way the world perceives your status coming through the next year. Thank you for listening, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I'd love to see you in the Venus class. Come aboard. It's quite affordable, and the code for the discount and all that is down below. And if you want to join us and have fun and learn how to deal with this Venus through your 10th and 9th house, then come aboard and join us in this thing. Yes, my hair is ratty, and I'm just trying to straighten it out. So live with it. Thanks, Cancer. Have a wonderful month of March.